50 and Fabulous opening. I'm sitting, I promise.
Wait, I feel like I better get comfortable.
Oh, hi! Yay! We're here. Hi, my friends. I love you. Welcome to Over 50 and Fabulous, as we like to call it, After Dark. And as you know, we have worked so tirelessly because we love you so much, and we're so excited that you are loving this community as much as we are. We've been coming to you. Wait, I got to tell you, in 2 seconds, I'm going to introduce our guest, but I'm telling you right now, first and foremost, if you're joining us on QVC.com or Facebook.com, honey, get those fingers moving and start typing, because we got all of our team here ready to hear what you have to say. We're so excited because today our guest is someone very, very special, someone that you know, someone that you love, that maybe you spend a little time with every day here on QVC. We're going to get to know her in a way that maybe QVC regular channel does not allow you to see. But lucky for you, she happens to be one of my besties. So I get all the dish. Here she is.
Hi.
Our beautiful.
With that kind of build up, I'm sure 50% of you at least are kind of like, oh, that's who it is.
Okay, so that's a little sampling of what you're going to get tonight. So
Hi, honey.
first, hi, I love you. Thank you so much. We know that you're here to work to kick off the TSV from IT Cosmetics at midnight.
Yes.
Oh, was I supposed to say
No,
that?
it's
Okay.
fine.
Okay, but I can't tell you how much I appreciate you spending this time with us.
So, you know, there was a lot of Fridays that I was working and I would come through and I would see you getting ready or doing it. I'd be like, I want to do that with Mally. We've been friends since, I think we became friends right when you were pregnant with your twins, and they're 16 now.
Yeah, isn't that wild? And this queen still looks the dang same. You know what? It's, first of all, I don't know if many of you, I'm sure many of you have that one friend. That one friend that you look at every single year and you go, what the heck is going on with her, and why does she never get older? That is our Sandra Bennett. That is our beautiful
Clean living.
queen.
No, I don't know. This is why I love her.
Well,
you know, Mally is a friend who will always gas you up in the best possible way. Like, you are a girl's girl. Like, she has given me so much love. You don't even know. Like,
well,
you are
deserve
love personified.
Thank you. Well, you deserve it. You are, okay, so first and foremost, remember, we're on the chat. If you want my t-shirt, which you really, is this the cutest thing?
It's so cute. I want one.
Over 50 and Fabulous. It is so soft. It's so cozy. I even know that, isn't it nice?
It's really a nice shirt.
Some of our not 50 friends want one. Hello, thank you. Oh, wait, do you have a... Oh, get ready, guys. So now can we show you, please? Okay, here she comes. So if you're wondering who is behind the fingers of the computer, anyone you want to talk, there she is.
Hello, world.
Tell everybody your name, where you're from, and
And my blood type?
yeah, and your blood type. Go ahead, because you're very much a part of this show. Go ahead.
I'm Carrie. I'm from the Westchester area, and I'm one of the producers here.
Oh,
so much
yay.
attention.
And she's the one who gives you all the love. Okay, Carrie S. is saying the ultimate class act is Sandra Bennett.
Oh, that's nice.
Isn't that nice? So any questions that you have
You
for
just
the
made
next...
my mom, I'm sure, very happy if she's watching.
No kidding. Any questions that you have for the next, 40 minutes or so for Sandra? And I'll tell you this, nothing's off limits.
No, actually, nothing is off limits.
Right? Anything you want to say, she's going to answer. So get ready, put it in the chat, and anything that strikes your fancy while we're talking, feel free to chime in.
Now,
okay.
listen, no questions off limits. I can't guarantee I will give an answer to everything. He does have his secrets.
There you go.
No, I
Thank
don't
you.
care. It's all good.
Lisa B says, bring the tea.
All right, well, then in
All
that
right.
case, I'll spill.
Okay, I love it. All right, so first and foremost, I think it's really interesting every time we have, a host with us. How did you get your start? How long have you been here at QVC? And,
In
tell us
a couple
the
of
story.
weeks, it'll be 17 years.
What?
Yes. Yeah, because I've known you for 17 years.
I know, but you know what the thing that's weird is? It just goes so fast.
Well, doesn't it seem like yesterday that like you had the kids to my daughter's birthday party? Our kids are kind of the same age, so they've been to birthday parties, and I still think of like our two little daughters holding hands in Build-A-Bear.
Yeah.
And now, like, that seems like it was yesterday, but really, both of them haven't had Build-A-Bear in years. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Speak for yourself. These kids, I'm like, really? We still want to go to Build-A-Bear?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean.
I've been here 17 years.
Amazing. Okay, and then, so before you were a QVC host, which I want to get into that, but before you were, where were you and what were you doing?
Okay, so, well, I'll give you the Reader's Digest version.
Yeah.
My dad was in the military.
Okay.
And he was in the Air Force for 20 years. I'm one of 5 children. I'm in the middle. I'm severe middle child. I have sisters who are 7 and 8 years older than me, and brothers who are 7 and 9 years younger.
Wow.
So, well, you've met most of my family.
Yeah.
And so I'm very, very close to them now. But growing up, it was kind of like I had real little brothers and sisters who I was like just the bratty little sister to. And then
Were you a bratty little sister?
Oh, yeah.
No.
I did things to my sisters like getting their makeup and wear their sweatshirt to school that now my younger daughter does to my older daughter. And on the one hand, I'm disciplining her for it. But on the other hand, I'm like, I get it. I did it too. I can't tell her that. But,
yeah, you better not, or she will absolutely hold that against you.
Yeah.
So,
anyway, so I used to always watch 60 Minutes with my dad. My dad doesn't like sports. My mom loves sports. My dad doesn't. And so my dad would always watch 60 Minutes every Sunday. And when it would be preemptive for football, he'd get really mad.
Oh.
And we would watch it every Sunday together. And I decided I wanted to be a journalist. So
what journalist was your favorite?
Diane Sawyer. I think because my dad respected her so much, and I
Yeah.
thought she was so pretty.
Yes,
and,
yeah. She was like that. She was like that perfect balance
Yes.
between being beautiful and elegant.
And like super smart.
Yeah, kind of like you.
I don't know about that. So then I worked my way through college. I worked full time and went to college at night, so I paid for my own college.
Wow.
Took me, I think, 5.5, 6 years because I was working all day, and then I'd take the bus to the University of Pittsburgh at night.
Wow.
So I got myself through school. And then I worked in news for 12 years.
Wow.
Until I didn't want to do it anymore.
Why didn't you want to do it anymore?
Well, you know, I started off really loving a lot of the stories I was doing, and then I was an anchor and a reporter, and there was a period of time before I became a full-time anchor where I was a reporter in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and I was doing a lot of stories in the State House, and I really felt like it was a public service. And then I started being a reporter, and then I went on to become an anchor, and that was nice, but actually not that exciting. I felt like I'd sort of plateaued.
Yeah.
It was like an office job, right?
Yeah.
I was reading prompter, and
Yeah,
I don't know, it just didn't excite me. So then I started, I was a reporter in Philadelphia for a little bit, and that's when I realized I don't have it in me to keep.
Yeah.
The worst thing ever is to knock on someone's door and try and get them to talk to you because their kid was shot.
Oh.
And I realized this is not, I'm not putting good energy out into the world. It's really not what I wanted to do for a living.
Yeah.
And then I just decided I was adopting my oldest daughter, who's 20 now.
Oh.
And I realized I would never be able to be home with her working nights. So I quit and started my own freelance writing business, and I ghost wrote a couple of books. And
Really?
yes, and I was a single mom then, so I had no money, and I would get up real early and write, type. I wrote weird articles on things like seawalls and erosion. I'd be calling the Army Corps of Engineers. I didn't even know what I was asking them about, but I had these corporate clients, and then I was just all kinds of weird stuff. And then, so I'd write in the morning, and then she'd get up, and then I would write during her nap, and then play with her, and then she'd go to bed, and I'd write. And so that's how I did it.
I love that, and I love that, and
every month I would be like, how did I pay my rent?
Yeah,
I had no idea. I was living in Center City, Philadelphia, and I'd be like, I have no idea how I paid this rent this month, but I somehow did.
You did, exactly. And you know, that to me represents really what Over 50 and Fabulous, and us being women, most of us are women. We have a few gangsta men out there that watch, and we love you so much. But really, that's what it is, right? You just make it happen.
Yeah.
Whatever it takes.
Right.
The baby's sleeping. You write when the baby's sleeping. You know, you're going through some hard times, or you're stressed out or whatever, but you get it done.
Yeah.
And that's what I think
I love
is
that
so,
time, though. I think that was one of the happiest times in my life. So I was living in Center City. I didn't have a car. I had this little baby. She was like 2.5 at the time. And it was just her and I in this not nice. The apartment was fine. It wasn't a bad apartment, but it, you know, I had owned homes before, and so I really had to downsize, and I really had such a great time. And then I don't know. I kind of just I love that period of my life.
Yeah.
And then I met Adam, who you know, my husband.
Yeah, which is amazing.
And he said to me, "You should be a host on QVC."
He's the one.
He's the whole reason I'm here.
Adam, thank you. Not only did you give us an amazing host, you gave me one of my besties and all.
Wait, I'll tell you. Do you want to hear a crazy story?
Yes, please tell us a crazy
This
story. By the way,
something has never been told on air.
Carrie S. Carrie S. is asking a question. What place has Sandra not traveled to that's on her bucket list? We are going to get to that.
Okay.
So stay tuned. Do not go away. Okay. And Denise is 56 and ordered the shirt tonight. Yay! Thank you for the show. Very
love the
uplifting.
shirt.
Well, we love you, and we're so happy that you're here. Julie B. is saying you two are awesome. Rocking my 50 and Fab T. Hooray! Twinsies, twinsies. And again, any questions for Sandra? She's here. But I want to hear the story. What is the story?
So my husband was my first only internet date.
What?
I was like his 200th. So I'd never gone on an internet date before. And the reason he had signed up for this was back when like, I kind of want to put my picture out there. Like, it was just weird, you know?
Yeah.
Now I think it's so common, it's not scandalous. But at the time, it felt like, frankly, a weird thing to do.
Right.
And so his friend who lived in his apartment building in Center City, Philly, had said that his girlfriend had cheated on him. And so he had gone on this dating site, and he met some other girl that he really liked, and he told my husband to do it.
Okay.
So now, meanwhile, that's how I meet my husband. We go on this first date. I tell him I don't even want to go on a date. I just am looking for friends because all my friends are stay-home moms.
Really?
And like, I kind of would like to maybe have a friend in Center City that could do something at, you know, after 9 p.m.
Right.
So, so I make it clear it's not a date. It quickly became a date, like a half hour into it. I realized.
Like, how did you know? Because he was so handsome.
Because well, okay, so here's the thing. We were talking on the phone. I'd never met him, and of course I wouldn't let him come to my apartment. And I said to him,
Not that kind of girl.
I'm really just looking, you know, I'm a single mom, and I'm kind of just looking for people to hang out with because all my friends are married moms. And anyway.
Wait. You weren't looking for a man, like maybe
at
just
that point, I actually kind of wasn't, honestly.
Really?
Oh, I truly wasn't. I mean,
You just wanted-
okay, obviously I was enough because I went on the internet, but it wasn't like my main priority, right?
Okay,
I just wanted to pay
okay.
a bill.
Okay.
So he came. I told him this isn't going to be like a date, but yeah, I'll meet you.
Yeah.
So Friday night, my daughter's with my family and you know, visiting her grandparents, and so I had this all planned.
Okay.
And he calls me and he says that he's at this party because I had to meet him a little later because I had to drive all the way to central Pennsylvania and get my daughter situated.
Okay.
So he says he's at this party and he says to me, I don't know if, he's like, listen, if you don't like the looks of me, we can always come back to this party. There's like some nice looking guys here. And I was like, oh my God, good. This is not a date. Well, anyway, I met him. It quickly became a date. We did go to that party, but we went as a date.
Oh.
The reason I'm telling you all this is the guy that told him
Yeah.
to go on this online site
Yeah.
was an employee at QVC. He worked in communications. He hasn't in years. I think he's been. Okay, so my husband and I start dating. This is his next door neighbor who's working at QVC.
Yeah.
And my husband's always like, you should work on QVC. You should work on QVC. Well, one day he comes home to his apartment and his next door neighbor has taped a sign up to his front door that says open call audition.
No.
And he wrote in pen, maybe your girlfriend's interested. So I rented a car, I drove out here. So this person told my husband to go on a dating site, and he did.
Yes.
Then told my husband when there was an open call audition, and I got the job at QVC. So this guy, Joe, who I don't even know that well, is responsible for me having my family and me having my job.
Joe.
I know. How
Hello.
about it? And
Thank
every
you.
time I would ever see him and try and like tell him, he'd just be like, "Oh, that's cool."
You
But
should
I'm like,
at least
no.
send him some chocolates or something, maybe an edible arrangement. I'm just saying. I love an edible arrangement.
So that's my story.
by the
How
way.
like this one person
Yes.
like had this amazing impact on my life, and I still don't think he realizes it.
Well, that's amazing. And you know what? That just goes to show you, too. I kind of love that also because it just goes to show you that you can have an impact on someone in even like in a major way and not even know it.
Yeah.
And that's why, again, I hate to keep talking about how this community is so important to us, but it's because that's what we're doing. Carrie was saying that when we were having the live show at 8 p.m., that, you know, in the beginning, everyone was talking to me. I was doing the chat and everyone was talking to me. Carrie's like, nobody's talking to you anymore. They're only talking to each other.
Oh, I love that.
Which is what we love. She said it really feels like a community. And that's the thing that we wanted so much when we started Over 50 and Fabulous, is that for not only us to kind of be together and bring our friends and our loves and all that together, but you guys to love each other and really realize that you can have an impact. That's something that is so special. I still think that everyone who helps everyone should get an edible arrangement.
You know, I am like 17 years behind on that edible arrangement.
Wait, yeah.
I feel so bad. Joe, if for any chance you're watching, you did. I will tell you for like the 4th time, even though I haven't seen it. You may have had a big impact on my life.
I love that. It is very important. Oh, by the way, Mark D is here. Hi, Mark. I'm a male and 50 and watching Girls with my wife. Oh, love that. I love you, Mark D. Thank you so much. Lily A, best time to find love is when you are not looking.
That's true.
That's absolutely true. I met Phil, you know, I wasn't looking. I was actually just,
You were working.
I was working, yes, and I was supposed to go.
Do you know what Phil told me about you?
What did he say?
So one time Phil was in my kitchen. I love Phil. He's such a good man, Mally.
He loves you.
And he told me that he was a photographer shooting this model, and as soon as you walked up were you wearing candies, did he say?
Yes,
when you walked up in your candy shoes, he said the entire time he knew he was supposed to be shooting this young model, and he could only pay attention to the makeup artist in the candies.
Oh.
I think it's the sweetest. That's so sweet.
I
love
love
that story so much.
Thank you. Well, it's true. It was exactly that. And Lily A, you're right. I wasn't planning. I was just going to work. I mean, a little bit. I did kind of know.
But Phil is so handsome. I mean, you had to have been like, look at the photographer.
I was. Well, that was the thing. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't going to actually go to the job because it was a last minute thing. But the model agent actually did call me on the side, and he was like, just so you know, the photographer is really hot. And I was like, okay, I will go. So that's what that was
hilarious.
all about. I know. So, you know, I will say that those little moments in life, what are some of your favorite moments here at QVC? Now, I know that that's kind of a big question because you're here and you do so many things. Like, you know, besides, obviously, you're an amazing beauty host.
Oh, thanks.
You're an amazing gardening host. You're an amazing fashion host. Food, like, is there anything that you don't, like, or do you love doing
I'm a jack of all
it?
trades, master of none.
Not true, not true.
You know what? I love the diversity of where I'm at right now at QVC because I do so many different shows.
Yeah.
So I actually really love that. But I think, and I mean this from my heart, I'm not being like, not trying to give you just the response that, you know, I think would be the nicest. My favorite part of QVC is I've met some of my best friends here. I have some friends that I've had since I was kids, and they're really like my family. But when I think of my girlfriends, the people who I call, I just talked to Laura Geller and I were on the phone today. I love her.
Yeah.
My kids love her.
Yeah.
We've been a support to each other. I've called Laura in some dark times crying. You, I can always reach out to. There's so much, I have so much love for you. Doris Dalton, you and I both. That's like one of my besties. And then, you know, like hosts here at QVC, like Alberti and I spend so much time together. And I mean, that's a tiny list. I mean, there's so many people here I really love. But really, I feel like this is where my friends are. It's just like where my family is.
Yeah, it's true. And I think that
and we grew up together.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Absolutely, because, you know, I've been here, you've been here 17 years, me 19 in March, and that's really what it was before, you know, so many things, big things that have happened in our lives, and really important changes that have happened in our lives. And I think something that we really love to connect with here is, what are some of the biggest changes you've seen in yourself as you've gotten older? Like, what are some of the
I'm starting to get this weird fat right here that I didn't have before. And my eyelids are getting crepey. So that's one of the changes. I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like, what's right there? Like, I don't know. Like, that's a weird thing that happens, right?
Right.
But I don't know that that's what you meant.
Well, I mean, it's all part of it. Let's be
Thanks,
honest.
menopause.
Thanks, menopause. Well, okay, wait. So menopause is like a thing.
Well, it's a real thing.
It's
Who
a
knew?
well, I mean,
it's
who
a
knew?
real thing.
And that, well, okay, so aside from your physical, which I'm happy to, we're all happy to share, I'm having.
I mean, I don't mean to brag, but that's where I'm at.
Yeah, look at us go. Yes, I know. Why do you think everybody laughs at the fans? They're like, oh, you do it because of the dry queen. No, it's because we're hot. Let's be honest. A little hot flash for anyone.
So,
Thank you.
I'm sorry,
okay.
what was the real
All
question?
right, so besides that, and we can talk about that because remember, nothing is off limits, but so you've seen some changes, obviously, in your body because, again, I want to say this also. The people who are watching, right, we love you. You see her, right, you say, oh, well, she must be perfect.
I don't think anyone says that. No, she must.
They do. Well,
This is why I love her.
You are perfect. You're
Oh, my God,
I'm sitting
Melly.
inches away from your face. I've done your makeup. I've touched your very
Stop it.
taut baby skin. Stop it. But really, you have to. So things are not perfect, Sandra. Tell the people. Tell them all about
I've got all these moles on my back. You want to see them? Like, some of them got cut off. I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
It happens.
Okay, but do
Good,
you mean
all
like
right.
changes outside of
Both.
like?
Okay. It did start with your emotional and the things that you care about. But if you really want to talk about
Well,
your
I mean-
vagina and your whatever, then that's all good too.
I'd prefer not to talk about that at this juncture. But I will say,
Yes. Okay.
like physically,
Yeah.
like I always kind of joke, I'm like in maintenance mode, like I'm
Yeah.
white knuckling it, like I'm just holding on with some sunscreen.
Yes.
And with lifting weights and trying to eat more protein. Like that's pretty much like sunscreen, trying to lift some weights,
and some
and
protein.
making sure I get some protein.
It's eating some chicken.
Exactly. Like it's the
thank you.
sunscreen, the
Yeah.
protein,
I
and I
like
make
it.
myself lift weights in the basement.
I love that.
Like,
Guys.
so that's maintenance mode.
Yes. I love that.
But really, like I am aware of the fact that I'm only 53, and I
Yeah.
feel like I really feel like things are just starting now. I mean, my sisters started a whole new business in her 50s.
There's
I
your
don't feel,
soundbite, baby.
and you know,
right
someday
there.
I'm gonna be, God willing, 93, and
Yeah.
I'll say, oh my gosh, at 53 I was such a baby. Why did I complain about those fat pads right here?
That's right.
You know, so I don't know. I like this decade for me.
Yes, I love
It's a little
that.
easier because the kids aren't so little, right?
Yeah.
Because you know, when
exactly.
you're a mom or any parent, like your time's never your own. You're
Yep.
only as happy as your most unhappy child. And
preach it, girl.
Right, and so it's not that like my youngest is 14. I'm not out of that yet, but she also is more self-sufficient now. I have a daughter in college. I look at my husband. I'm like, thank God I still like you so much because it's going to be just you and I soon. And I'm actually like, I love that. Like,
Yes.
you know, like
Yeah.
I feel really fortunate
Yeah.
that my relationship is where it's at.
That's right.
So, I don't know. I mean, I'm
You're good.
not ecstatic every day, but I'm pretty happy.
I'm
I like my husband, which I got to tell you, like
Yeah.
that's something to be thankful for, because you know, I was married once before, which
Yes,
you know.
yeah.
I was married for 11 years, and
Oh, I didn't realize it was that
yeah,
long.
I got married when I was only 21 years old.
Wow.
That's why I was going to working all day and going to school at night, because I got married when I was too young.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So,
Interesting.
yes.
Yeah.
So, I know, like, not that my husband and I don't have ups and downs, right? Because everybody
Yeah.
does. There's like been years that weren't as good as
Oh,
other
yeah.
years. But like I really realized, like, this is really like I'm like you, and
Yeah.
this is what I love about watching you and your husband, like
Yeah.
because you and Phil are such a unit, and I feel like, which is really couple goals.
Yeah.
But I feel really like just fortunate that like I still look at my husband and feel like
Yes.
I have a little crush on him.
Yes,
You know?
that's exactly it. Well, it's so funny that you say that because we talked about this. I actually talked about this the other day on a podcast, which was, you know, and we were actually talking about I was giving a little bit of advice to younger moms, you know, because again, these are the kinds of things, like, and so many of us here who are watching, we are over 50, obviously, and we've seen so many ups and downs, and we've maybe raised our kids, and we're still kind of hanging on to some of those things. But it is important, I think, and in our case, we're talking about our husbands, right? But you really do need to have that person, right, that you can lean on. Like, do you find that as you are getting older, do you have, you were talking about the friends that you have.
My friendships are deeper than they've
Yes.
ever been. I think
Yeah.
because I have more time
Yes.
to spend on them. Because I'm not
Yes.
constantly trying to figure out how to work an overnight shift and take care of a kindergartner. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
great.
So I feel like I've had this core group, but I also feel like, so okay, so today I wanted to tell Laura something, Laura
Yeah.
Geller.
Yes.
And I called her.
Well, by the way, if Laura Geller, you are watching, which I don't know if you are, I have said that she is one of my dream guests for Over 50 and Fabulous. She did say, no comment.
Oh, I love her so much.
So, actually, it wasn't no comment. It was just no answer. And I love you, Laura. So get in the car and come visit
Well, actually,
me.
you know,
at
after you and I
Over
were talking on
50.
the phone today.
What'd she say?
I had told you, like, we were talking, and then I was like, oh, wait, Laura needs to hear this, too. So I called Laura up to tell
Yeah,
her something
yeah,
about something. It
yeah.
was gossip. I can't share it. I called Laura to tell her some gossip. But I was like, you know, there was a time in my life when I really didn't have,
Yeah.
if I wanted to tell Laura
Yeah.
Geller some gossip, I
Yeah.
couldn't actually do it
Yeah.
because I was
Yes,
too busy. Like,
too busy,
you know.
right, right. I love this concept, though, and we've
yeah.
never talked about this actually on Over 50 and Fabulous, that as we're older, one of the benefits of getting older is that you do have more time to cultivate these
Yeah.
beautiful friendships. Exactly what we're doing right here. You guys all know that Friday nights at 9 p.m., I'm going to be here on the couch with some amazing girlfriend that you're also going to want to have in your life, right? That you can learn more about.
Yeah.
And we have the time for that.
Yeah.
That's kind of an amazing aha moment, Carrie. We haven't talked about that at all in all the hundreds of weeks
Or, like,
that we've done this.
I have time. I spend a lot of time in my garden, and like that's something that I really didn't start until I didn't. You know, when you have little kids, you're watching them every single moment, right?
Yes.
Like you can't go outside and weed for 2 hours
Yeah.
because you got little kids.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like I'm spending more time on my hobbies. I'm, you know, yeah. I feel like, and that will only increase, you know, as my youngest is still 14, and so she's going to be in high school this year.
Yeah.
But you know, anyone with a teenager knows that they don't necessarily, you know, hang on your apron strings anymore. Like the kind of the opposite. She's like,
Right, gotta
I'm like, I'm begging her. You want to watch a show tonight? You want to watch a show tonight? She's like, well.
But she's very cool. Sorry, she's very cool, and you know you're cool to us, Sandra, but maybe not.
I'm
you
not
know.
cool to my kids.
But okay, so aside from that, aside from your gardening,
Yeah.
aside from your girlfriend relationships or
Yeah.
your all that stuff, what are some other things that maybe as we're getting older, what are some of the things you guys maybe want to try to do, or some other hobbies you're interested in? That's something that because Phil always says to me, because Phil races his motocross, right?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he
he
loves his
does.
motocross bikes, and the girls will sometimes go with him, and he's like, what? You need a hobby. What do you like to do?
Yeah.
So what give us some
Well,
suggestions of
I
things
have
you're
obsessions
interested in.
more than hobbies, and they go
Yeah.
in waves. So
Okay.
during the pandemic, I realized that I was going to get into ceramics. So I started taking ceramics. So then I would go and spend all this time in ceramic studios, and I learned to do wheel ceramics.
Yes.
Mixed results. Some of it's pretty cute. Some of
Yeah.
it you'll never see. So I was doing that a lot, and then I'm taking a little break, a couple months break. I did that
Okay.
for 3 years straight, every week.
I remember you would
Yeah,
post
and I was
it.
just taking
So
a little
good.
break for the summer because I just wasn't gonna.
Yeah.
It wasn't worth the cost of the studio cost just
Oh,
because I
yeah.
wasn't gonna be around. Anyway, so I'll start again in the fall.
Okay.
So and then I'm obsessed with my garden, and then I have these 2 rabbits. I get obsessed with them. So like I don't know. Like I always need something to
I'm
be
like that.
obsessed with.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Or I'll plan for a trip. Like I love trip plans. So then I get obsessed with that. Like I want everyone to leave me alone. I want to sit at my computer with a cup of coffee and like read Airbnb reviews. Like I just always need an obsession.
I love that. Okay, Jazz Rosie saying, I wish I had you both as a mentor. When I was a young wife and mom, I had no one and my marriage failed.
Well, Jazz Rosie, I had a marriage that failed too. And let me tell you, I think it happened for me, not to me. And if it failed, it's probably good that it did, right? Right? Yeah. And I'm not minimizing anything that you went through, truly. And it's very easy for me to say that because I've been on the other side of it now for, oh my gosh, you know, almost 2 decades. But I, you know, I wonder if let's say let's say we had mentored ourselves.
Okay.
Would we even have listened?
No.
Like,
Now,
my mom tried to tell me about hot flashes and the fact that I was going to need reading glasses, and I just really thought that would never happen. I just don't think.
how lucky are you that you still have your grandma?
Oh my God. Okay, please don't make me cry.
Okay. We actually have over 50 and fabulous tissues now. We do, because of that. Can we talk about that for a few minutes? Because you are a 54.
I'm 53.
53.
And I still have my mom's mom, my grandma Kate. She's 102. And she's the cutest. She's really happy. Like, she's really a happy person.
She is.
Oh my gosh, don't cry, because then you'll make me cry. We never have a conversation. Forget about it on camera. We never have a conversation where one of us doesn't cry. It's actually a problem, and I think we feed off this energy with each other. It's a problem.
Tell us about
Well, you know, my grandma,
here
a couple years, like,
That's
I guess
not the over 50
5
and
years ago.
fabulous.
So when she was in her late 90s, she went into a nursing home because she has some limited mobility. And then during COVID, I was devastated. I was so worried because we couldn't go see her. And it was just terrible. I felt like my grandma was in prison. And it was really hard. And I also live 3 hours away. So for me to go and drive and, you know, so it was really awful. And since COVID, you know, I've seen her more. My mom sees her every week.
Oh,
but
she does.
But here's what's crazy.
Yeah.
I was so worried about her, and we would FaceTime her, and, you know, with mixed results, because sometimes it's harder for her to hear. But every time I go see her, she makes me so happy because she's so happy. It's kind of like, you know, we talk about you and I getting happier. She's so happy, and she's so funny, and she loves to read her newspaper. You know, my grandma was writing for her local paper well into her 90s. She wrote a weekly column. She worked the polls. She was a farmer's wife. She was orphaned twice in her life. Was orphaned. The woman who took her in died. She became a boarder. She worked, lived on top of a restaurant and would come home from high school and work the restaurant. That's how she survived.
Oh my God.
So my grandma was very poor. And she just got her license when she was in her 40s and then started driving to the quilting clubs. So she had her whole thing too, but hers was tied with getting her license. And,
You see?
And she's so happy, and she's funny too. My daughter, who I won't talk about this because she would kill me, she knew, but my daughter had a boyfriend. It was her first boyfriend. She broke up with him, whatever. So when I was talking to my grandma about it recently, I said to her, oh, Grandma, you know, she broke up with her boyfriend. Oh, no, my grandma said, I'm telling the story wrong. She said, is Abe married yet? I said, oh, no, she's only 20. I said, she did have that boyfriend, remember, but she broke up with him. I said, but it's a shame because he was a really nice guy. And she goes, I guess he wasn't that nice.
Fierce.
She's
Hold
hilarious.
Hold on, Grandma. This is for you, Grandma.
She's hilarious.
Queen. Thank you. The grandma is the queen.
Well, how about this? So then she looked at my mom. This is like always something like your mom would say to you, right? Like my grandma would never say this to me because I'm her granddaughter. Yeah. But this is what she would say to her daughter, right? Yeah. She says to my mom, you have a lot of wrinkles. And my mom goes, well, Mom, I'm 80 years old. And she goes, well, that explains it.
You see what I
mean? And she's so funny, and she's happy, and she just, I don't know, she brings us so much joy. I love her so much.
You see, this is the inspiration that we're talking about. So you have the blessing and the honor of being able, right, to look at this live human who you share blood with, right? Like literally her blood is in your veins. And you get to see how cool it is to get older. You
know, my grandma, my dad got on Ancestry DNA or Ancestry.com when my grandma was like 94, I think. Yeah. He found her biological relatives, and do you know, they're only a few hours away now. She had 4 biological siblings who all passed away. but they had kids, so she has these biological nieces and nephews. And do you know, they come visit her, and when we had her 102nd birthday party, they come to every party, and it was so healing for her. It's never too late. In her 90s, she was able to close this circle about always feeling abandoned, and now she has this family that drives a few hours to come spend birthdays with her. It's her nieces and nephews. Isn't that amazing? In her 90s, she got that closure.
Guys, are you hearing this? The inspiration we're getting from Sandra's grandma. In her 90s, she is getting an entire new life.
Yeah.
If that's not inspiring.
She calls them my people from West Virginia. You know, I've got people in West Virginia. That's what she says. That's so sweet.
I can't take it.
It's so sweet, right?
Yes.
Oh, stop it. Don't make, I got today's special value to kick off. Don't make me cry.
That is...
Wait, I can't drink that coffee. Sherry's watching at home. Our producer, she'll get mad because I pulled out the ugly cup. Hang on, I got to drink from the pretty cup.
Pulled out the ugly...
That's true. I don't mess with Sherry. I respect her.
I told her, Sherry, she can't drink out of the ugly cup. I'm so sorry. I'm blown away by this because the inspiration really, like, not that you're not inspiring, Sandra, but
My grandma is.
But the grandma.
No, my grandma is.
This is something, for me, I think that feels so big. And for really what this is all about. Because, you know, yes, it's true. We talk about our hot flashes. We talk about, you know, having to cross your legs when you sneeze so you don't pee. We talk about all these things. These are the things we talk about, guys, let's be honest. But the insight and the inspiration we're getting from Sandra, telling stories about a 102-year-old fierce grandma who is still learning, who's still growing.
Yeah. If you want to see her, if you go on my Instagram,
I'm amazed.
You could actually just go back a little bit, and there's lots of pictures of her on there. But
yeah, and that's the thing, and the fact that she's joyful.
She's really happy
while she's doing it. What do you think it is? What's the secret to staying happy as we get older?
I mean, for me, it's always just trying to remember what's important. And I don't do it every day. And I mean, this is advice that you could probably give me too, right? It's just, I mean, I never don't tell my kids probably 20 times a day I love them. Yeah. I'm constantly texting, talking to them. Yeah. I tell my husband all day long to the point that it's ridiculous. Like, I just really, at this point, I just want everyone that I love to know how much I love them. When you and I talk, what do we always say to each other when we get off the phone? I love you, right? Yeah. I can't not cry when I talk. I mean, you and I tell each other that every single time, like multiple times. I don't know. I just feel like if I love someone, I want to tell them. Like I didn't do that really in my 30s. Yes. My parents, you know, my dad, I always knew my dad loved me. He didn't really say it, but somehow, like now, I don't talk to my dad without telling him, and he tells me. I don't know, just like, I feel like. I think that is. And that's kind of the key to happiness, right? Because that's really all that really matters. It is all that really matters. And I think that for all of us here, what is something in the chat? Who is that person? And I feel like sometimes if it's hard for you, Carrie, do you tell everybody that you love them?
I do. I started to when I was in college. Anytime I would say bye to my friends, I said, love you to them. Yes. And at first people were like, okay, yeah, love you too. And
they were weirded out because it's hard for maybe younger people to express.
And maybe for like friends too, because at that point, like they're only used to saying it to like maybe a boyfriend. Yeah. And their parents.
That's right.
Not to their friend.
Now, Carrie, in the beauty industry, because I've spent my time around some beauty industry people, they'll say I love you even when they don't. That's just you go in a beauty thing and they're like, love you, I love you. And right? It's actually very sweet.
It is true.
It's sweet. But but I tell my friends like all the time, you know?
I know. Put it in the chat, guys. Somebody who you want to say that you love. Just put their name in there. Maybe even if they're not watching, or maybe even
that's a
if
nice
they'll feel it, you know, because that's, I think, the thing that we're getting the most out of this conversation with you, which is, again, obviously you're beautiful and fascinating. Although I do want to know well, I don't want to know your beauty tricks because I just know already that you're already just born that way. It's okay. But anyway, aside from that, who is it that you didn't maybe say that you love today that maybe you think you should? Because if there is something, and Kim Gravel actually touched on this last time when we were talking, because I was saying how Phil and I, we have this new weird thing. You ready? Well, no, it's not weird because your grandma's 102. We want to live to be 100. That's like
not weird. It's obtainable.
It is, right?
Hopefully, if we're less so lucky.
Exactly. So in that time, she went, whoa. And she realized that life is short. And that even with what we think is so much time, you have to say what you want to say to people. Don't let another day go by.
And don't get don't get so worried about age. I mean, really, like, it's easy for me to say because I'm only 3 years past this over 50 and fabulous.
Right.
And I realize we have friends watching who are a few decades older.
Yeah.
But, you know, my grandma's been over 50 and fabulous for 52 years. Like, I mean, now that she's very lucky. She's really fortunate.
Yeah. Was she healthy was she like going to the clubs and like drinking and smoking and you know?
She just worked her butt off her whole life and grew what she ate and. Well, I mean, she was a farmer's wife, and then she had a general store.
Yeah.
So I've asked her that so many times.
Yeah, because
I've asked her so many times.
What are her secrets?
Well, she says she doesn't eat store-bought. She says that. She told me good hygiene once.
Yeah. Oh, that means she just take a shower.
But I don't know. I think she just always kept moving because she had to.
Yeah. It's possible. Sandy is saying, I always tell my grandchildren I love you, and they tell me back. They say I love you more.
Then they say they love you. Aww.
That is what it's all about. That is what it's all about, to just make sure that you don't forget, you know, the show today, our little thing was midlife magic.
Oh yeah, and I thought we were going to talk about kayaking, and look, we went so much deeper. Literally, I thought that's what we were going to talk about.
Well, the magic, right? Exactly. Thank you.
Thought we were going to talk about kayaking.
You like to kayak?
I mean, well, I think when we were talking on the phone today, you were saying like you wanted me to talk about maybe like some trips I did this summer or something. But who cares? It was fun.
It was fun. So, okay, let's do this. The most important things in life to Sandra Bennett are...
Oh, I mean, my husband and kids without... I mean, that's kind of...
Yes,
that's...
Yeah. Okay, well, love, right? Fun.
Oh, yeah. Wait, okay, so love and... Yes, absolutely, because I do like to laugh.
She sure does.
I only play...
At me.
Remember when you... It's true.
To my face. No.
What are the most important things? I mean, I really, there's anything below my family and friends, so is so far below that. Things I really love to do. I do really love to travel.
Yes.
That's something that I have loved my whole life. And
why do you think that is?
You know, I feel like every time I go see a part of the world, I actually end up learning more about myself.
Ooh.
So like because you don't, I just feel like by seeing other cultures, I then see my own culture more. Wow. Because you don't know what you don't know, like something so normal to you, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
So like, for instance, my goddaughter lives in Germany. Two of my best friends are German, Martina and Torsten, and I remember visiting them and, you know, we were talking about something like putting flags up or something, and they were like, oh, we would never put a flag up. And they love Germany, but they have a wholly different history, and so they don't want to look nationalistic, right? And for me, I was like, oh, wait, when I'm around you, I feel so much more I didn't realize I was so patriotic, right? Okay, that's a really weird example that was the first time at the top of my head, but my point is, I'm fascinated by different cultures, and I find out that I just learn more about what's important to me every time I travel.
Wow. So that's another thing.
Plus, I also just like to see stuff.
And she likes to look up Airbnb reviews.
I do. I love trip planning so much. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, well, listen, there's nothing weird. Okay, in our last few minutes.
Oh, Lynn just kayaked for the first time yesterday.
Congratulations, Lynn. Was it fun? I don't know. I would be afraid. Well, actually, that's not true. We kayaked. Well, I was with Pilar. And I'll be honest with you, she kind of gave out like halfway through. So then she was like, oh, I'm done. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll just
Telling you, you think those double kayaks are going to be easier? Always go for the single. Let the kids do it on their own.
That's right.
Every person for themselves.
That's right. Thank you.
One person kayak is the key to liking kayaking.
No, noted. Dina said, life is too short. Live it to the fullest and tell your friends and family you love them. Yes,
that's
Dina.
exactly it.
That's exactly it. Okay, in our last few minutes, we're going to do some of our fun.
This was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. She didn't even ask me anything that I thought I shouldn't answer that.
Well, we are not done.
Oh. Shouldn't have said that. Melly, it's as if I don't know you that I would say that.
You better believe it. We're going to do a few this or that's, and then we're going to do some rapid fire.
Oh, okay, fine.
Panty or thong?
Thong is can't believe I just said that.
Why? Well, why?
Because I don't like panty lines.
Yeah,
that's all I've ever worn.
Yes, that's.
I can't see. Can we edit this? I don't know.
No, it's live.
That's too much information. Okay, go ahead. I hope, my God, my mom's not watching.
Well, your mom.
My mom's cool. She doesn't care. That says more about me than it does about her.
Well, in the same breath, push-up or sports bra?
Kind of neither. I like a bralette.
Oh.
I don't like a sports bra, but
okay.
I'm not pushing them up at this point.
Mine must be pushed up. But that's a different conversation. Okay, a cruise or fly?
I guess fly, because I've never really been into cruising.
Okay. Bold lipstick or natural makeup?
Natural.
A day at the beach or a day in the mountains?
Day in the mountains.
Romantic comedy or action film?
Romantic comedy.
Long walks or a dance class?
Long walks. I'm terrible at dancing. I wish I could.
Are you really?
I mean, every time I think I'm good, I'm actually just making a fool of myself.
Do you think so? Maybe you're better than you think.
No, I've been told by all the people that care most about me to stop. No, I'm not that bad, but I'm not good. And I like to walk because I feel like it's like meditative.
Well, we've walked.
Yes.
Trip to Europe or trip to Asia?
Trip to Asia.
Okay, so before, everybody knows that you're a, what do they call it, wanderlust, or what is that word when you travel a lot, or when you're, is that right? Yeah. Wanderlust? Okay, so everyone wants to know where, okay, first of all, I know you can't say all the places you've been because you've been everywhere, but where's the dream vacation, the one you haven't done yet?
I think I'm in the process of thinking about doing an African safari because I want to go see the gorillas and the chimpanzees in Uganda, and I think I might do that next year. I'm just figuring out how to make it work without spending a fortune.
Oh, well,
part of my trip planning is I'm not really that extravagant. Like, I do try and figure things out.
Yeah, so
I'd like to do that. I always wanted to go to Mongolia. I've always had this dream of being in Mongolia, and I've never done it, and I don't know.
What's in Mongolia?
It's well, it's just all the steppes, my daughter, my oldest daughter, was born in Gansu Province, China, which is actually kind of close to Inner Mongolia, and that's the closest I've ever gotten to Mongolia. But it looks a lot like the American Southwest, where my daughter's from.
Oh, okay. Well, all right, guys. So just keep checking the Facebook page.
I don't know.
If she goes, it's going to happen. Okay, ready? What's a food you can't live without?
Coffee. Is that? Can I say? It's not a food, but it's my consistent.
That's true. With you. Okay. What's the hobby you enjoy? We discussed that.
I like gardening.
Yeah, that's great. What's your favorite type of cuisine? Entire, you know.
I think I'm going to say Italian. I was going to say maybe Japanese, but I think Italian.
What's the best piece of advice you ever received?
Don't lie.
Oh.
My mother always said it to me. I tell you, you really get yourself. That's why even when I'm on QVC, I will only ever tell. I don't make up stories on the fly. I wore this and someone told me they liked it. Because I know some of you out there, you watch enough that you'd be like, but she said they liked. So I just try and. I'm not saying I've never lied in my life. That would be a lie. But I really like this whole I just try and live my life not lying.
That's right.
I won't say anything perhaps, but I really
That's
try not to lie.
That's great. And you're raising...
It gets you in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, honey, let's just be honest.
Did I mention my first marriage? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Okay.
annoying.
What's your favorite thing about being a program host for QVC?
I just like that it's different every day. And I really, every time I get a chance to meet our customers, I love them so much. And I feel like they're like friends. I don't know. I feel such a bond with all of you on the live stream. I just feel like we're part of something.
It is. It's true. And
It feels like more than shopping to me sometimes.
You know what my dream is for Over 50 and Fabulous? Carrie knows. A cruise. And I don't really...
Oh, I'll go on that cruise.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. I'll be honest with you. I don't even really love a cruise. Like, some people are cruisers. You know what I'm saying? But I know that if we got on a boat, Carrie, with
make
Over
that happen.
50 and Fabulous... Oh my gosh, that thing would be rocking.
So
Wouldn't we
much
have fun?
Oh my gosh, we would have so
We
much fun.
would have the best time. So guys, write into your, what do you call it? QVC people. Right now, I don't know, I'll find a person for you to write to and tell them that you want an Over 50 and Fabulous cruise, and we will have the
Now, and
best
if you
time.
go on this cruise,
Yes.
and I have to stay here and work because you all went on a cruise and they need someone on air, I'm going to be very bitter.
No, we'll leave the under 50s.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
right, that's right.
Sorry, friends. Okay, and what's a goal you have for the future?
What a goal I have for the future. I just want my kids to be healthy and healthy.
Yeah.
And I just always worry about retirement. Do we have a...
Yeah.
That's a whole other topic. But I
That's-
guess my goal
yeah.
is just
Making
to
sure
be
you're
secure.
okay.
I think to me,
Yeah.
safety is important and security is important.
And your
That's why all my trips are so cheap. Worried about the future.
And your last question for Over 50 and Fabulous, rapid fire.
Okay.
What's the best thing about being a woman over 50?
Well, I think it's because I'm not really striving, not like I used to be striving to get in this career and that career. And, now I'm kind of I actually said this earlier on, QVC asked me this, and I just said, I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm not good at, and I'm totally okay with both.
Yes.
That's the best.
It's so good.
I can't dance, I can't sing, but I can do other things pretty well.
Well, I have a little bit of news for you then, unfortunately, because guess what we do at the end of Over 50
Oh,
and
you've got to be
Fabulous?
kidding me.
We dance it out.
Is she lying? Everyone on the live stream, is that a lie? Is she doing this to punk me?
Do you hear music in your ear?
No, because I don't have an earpiece in.
Oh, well, guess
Well,
what?
I can't dance without music.
There's music, so
I don't hear. I can't hear it.
Here's what we're gonna do.
can't hear it.
We're gonna. Oh, she can't
I
hear
can't
it.
hear
Everybody.
it. If I can't hear it, it must not exist.
Oh, are you gonna turn it up? Oh, if she
For the
gets
first time, I'm nervous.
in the whole hour. Okay, are we really no music? Well, then here's what we're gonna do. There you go. Okay, all right. We'll do it. We'll do chair dancing. Chair dancing. Chair dancing. Thank you guys.
Look, I spared you
for
the Elaine
joining-
from Seinfeld.
We love you guys. Thank
That's
you
really
so
fun.
much.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week at Over 50 and Fabulous After Dark. Oh, there it is.
Oh,
Gotta go.
right.
Stand up. Out the door. Out the door. Let's go. Oh, yeah.